So I hope everybody's able to see the screen, movies in the public library. We're basically just going to explore some of the things on the Nebraska Library Commission's website and a lot of the things on the SWANC movie licensing website, just to see what they have available and what the restrictions and requirements are. So I am Tammy Thiem. I'm the director of the Three Rivers Library System. I'm glad to see you guys here on this windy day. Okay, so this is mainly for public libraries. So you may wonder, is my public library licensed? If you are in Nebraska in a public library, you are covered by a public performance license, and it's called a blanket license between the Nebraska Library Commission and the SWANC Movie Licensing USA Incorporated for public viewing of motion pictures shown inside the library building. And that's only within the walls of the library. So with this license, motion pictures may be shown as part of various library services and programming at the library. And Susan Nicely, she asked me to let everyone know that the Nebraska Library Commission recently renewed the license for another year. So all public libraries are covered till the end of September of 2022. And even if you lose or misplace or haven't gotten your certificate, your library is still covered. And it's not required to display the certificate in order to show a movie, but sometimes it's a reminder, this is what the library has to offer, and also a reminder that a certificate or a contract is required in order to be able to show a public movie. So if you have any questions or to get more information about the license, you can contact Susan Nicely. There's all of her information. And I did ask her permission to share all these resources that she has from the Library Commission. And she said, absolutely. So that was very good of her because she's got a lot of information on the website. So here are some questions about the license requirements, some common questions. So if the library owns the video cassettes or DVDs, is the license needed? Yes, even if you own those videos or movies, you still have to have the license in order to do a public viewing. So whether it's part of the library collection, someone's personal collection, rented from a video business, you still need that annual site license to make it legal to show it in the library. So if you don't charge admission, do you need a license? Yes. The Federal Copyright Act states that regardless of whether an admissions fee is charged, a license is required. And actually, you cannot charge admission fee to show these movies. You can ask for free will donations, or you can sell concessions and things if you want, but you cannot actually charge for this viewing. Okay, so what if you want to show the videos to library card holders, members of the public? Do you need a license? Yes, no matter who it is, as long as it's a public viewing, you do need to have that license to show it. So if anyone has any questions, feel free to speak up or type it in chat. Like I said, we're just kind of reviewing this stuff together, and welcome any questions. Okay, so how do you promote the movie? And this is what I see done incorrectly sometimes. If you want to announce the video showings in the library, the newsletters, bookmarks, bulletin boards, or the library's webpage, these are places where the recipients are library card holders and staff, so you can put anything on those. So in that case, it's permitted to list the title of the motion picture, the studio, and so on. But if you're using public media, like putting it on the TV, radio, newspapers, posters, flyers in the post office or outside of the library, or on social media, it is prohibited to advertise the specific title or studio. So there's more information on the SWANC's page about this. Are you able to see the page that came up? It would say, how can I use my license to promote a movie event? Awesome. So these are some simple guidelines to remain compliant. There's 3 different things. And they say, please note, the reason for these guidelines is to avoid direct competition with the local movie theater. So that's the reasoning behind not being able to promote it just out there to the public. So you can advertise inside your library to registered borrowers. So you're free to advertise the movie title, studio name, the artwork, as long as the artwork is not altered and has the copyright as already there. And you're also free to advertise movie title, studio name, and artwork on the library's website because it is a virtual branch of the library. So you can advertise that way. And we'll look more into this later, but there's customizable posters and bookmarks and movie tickets, and they already have the copyright done. So these are good tools for advertising within your library. Okay, if you advertise on social media, if your accounts are set to private, you may use the title, but I would not think anybody's library would have private social media because you wouldn't be able to get the information out to everybody. Can we put it on our website's calendar of events? Yeah, great question. And you can, because the website is considered a virtual branch of the library. So it's the same rules apply as would apply within the library's walls. And so anyway, if the social media is set to, if it's a public account, you cannot include the title, or it's recommended you don't include the title. But you can advertise that you're having an event. You just can't use the title, the studio, the artwork. And same if you're advertising in public media like radio, television, newspapers. You can do it as long as the message does not include the movie name or studio. It could be, join us at any town library for a neighborhood movie night at 7 p.m. That is allowed. So here is a way to get around that too. So there's some clarification that the title, studio, artwork should not be used, as we said, but you can allude to the title and include a link back. So for example, the Anytown Public Library will be showing a movie that features a flying elephant. For more details, please visit the website, and you can put the website link there. Then people would probably get an idea of what movie you're showing, and they can click on the website and go to that virtual library branch to see all the particulars and really know what the title is, and you can advertise with a flyer and so on. So there's ways around it and still being compliant. And again, movie licensing, they've got publicity with customizable posters, bookmarks, movie tickets, and they're already copyrighted. So we'll take a look at that in a little bit. I thought this was cool. When I was public library director, I never realized this, or I should use their artwork. Okay, so the SWANK website. The movie licensing makes it easy to create publicity. So your customer number should be located on your license certificate. So we'll go ahead and look here and see what they have to offer as far as copyright. Okay, don't anybody look at that number, a librarian let me use it for this. Okay, so Check It Out magazine. There's current and past, and I think with the pandemic, they kind of slacked off because the newest one is fall of 2020, which is too bad. But you're able to download the latest magazines and see different things that they have to offer. Okay, free publicity. So there are posters and bookmarks and movie tickets, activity sheets, community invite, event sponsorship letters. So I suppose if someone is using your library's license to do something in the library as a sponsor, this would be a letter that you could use. But you can create and download a poster or bookmarks, movie tickets. And I thought this was cool that there's some coloring sheets that may go with it too. So has anyone ever used done this, made your own posters? Yes. I thought this was a cool feature. I did not know it was there. So you could do a plain movie poster or a promotion. So say we're doing White Christmas. And you can put the date, and if I can spell, 7 p.m. and location, Anytown Library. And so this is what the poster would look like. And it has the movie licensing copyright on the bottom. So you could print this out and put it in the library or on your website. So that's a pretty cool option. And the bookmarks would be very similar. You can do 5 on a page. So I'm sure you can follow that. I think we have plenty of time. I will go ahead and name of event or occasion. Movie night. An additional event, free popcorn and drink. And if you've already done this, I'm sorry, you're probably bored with seeing it. I just thought it was such an exciting option that they had.
You lost your title, Tammy. That's why it won't create it.
Oh, thank you so much. I wondered what was going on. Well, we'll just try a generic one then. Oh, so that's what it would look like. You'd have your title, your date, your time, your location, and then there would be licensing USA. So bookmarks, I suppose you give these out when you check out books for patrons that you think might be interested. And movie tickets, I think would be very similar. I wonder if you could give these out. I'm sure you could find contests or I don't know, any kind of ways to give these out, like a reward almost. And then activity sheets, finding Dory coloring sheets. These might be some different options when you're doing a movie to help keep kiddos busy. Community invite to send to outside groups. So I thought this was, I'm not sure how this works, Saint. You're supposed to keep that information inside. Okay, you're inviting a group to host an event at the library. So I thought that was interesting too, that you can have groups use your library's licensing to be able to host a library. And again, the sponsorship letters. Any questions or comments about this? Have you guys successfully used these tools before? And then vendor paperwork and new programming ideas. Oh no, but I'm looking forward to it. Yeah, I thought they were some cool options. So here are some different resources like spreading the word. There's this medallion that you can put on your website to show that you're copyright compliant. So you can use this graphic anytime on your website or so on. Stay informed. So here's for newsletters. And again, I think it kind of slowed down because of the pandemic. Yes, Alyssa. The license number is on the license itself. You should have gotten one from the Nebraska Library Commission, but there is a place where on Swank where you can get that license. Oh, you found it, good. I haven't actually seen one librarian let me use it. I guess I didn't notice where it was on the license, but I'm glad you found it. And if not, I know Swank had a place where you could contact them and ask for it, and they would be able to give it to you. So again, January 2020 is the latest newsletter they have, but they have different tie-ins to go with, like the Read Across America Days, Summer Reading 2020, or Practicing Self-Care, tie-ins with movies, just different ideas. Let's see, and frequently asked questions and forms, which they do have these in several different places that we'll come across. So here's like some different questions. Who can use the movie license? How do I know what movies I can show? What studios are covered? And here on the sole source list, all the movies, studios, and a W-9, I think would be if you paid for a movie. Oh, it's right in the middle of the license. Can't miss it. Awesome. And movie events made easy. They have a programming calendar. So, how long it takes to download here. So this started with May of 2021. We can get to this. Oh, there we are. So they have a programming idea of like having a gift wrapping program. Teach patrons how to wrap their presents like pro with a fun gift wrapping workshop. Have participants bring 1 or 2 unwrapped gifts so the workshop is hands-on. Include ideas and alternative wrapping materials that's more economical and eco-friendly, as well as how to handle their own, make their own bows. And then they have different suggestions. Pearl Harbor Day, so they have a suggestion for a movie, or Go Caroling Day, and so on. So there's just some different ideas on their calendar. A sensory-friendly resource guide. So I think this started with autism. And there is a video about it. So if you would want to do something like that, they have ideas on how to make a sensory-friendly event. And there's a how-to guide. So they come up with some interesting ideas. Discussion guide. So that could be after the movie, or if you're doing a book movie tie-in, maybe some different guides. And it says we have additional guides available, not included, so feel free to contact us if you have a special guide in mind or a specific guide in mind. We have quite a few listed and apparently have more. That might be a good resource. And then back to the publicity and promo. Different things are in several different places. So if you miss it one place, you can usually find it in another. So there's for like your bookmarks and so on. A legacy promo material builder. So you could actually have a big old picture of things like Godzilla versus Kong with all your details. A lot of good ideas there. And then additional movie and program ideas. Maximize your license. So here's some other ideas. Films for every occasion. So books and literature adaptations, And there's a long list. It's just lots of ideas. And then there's family-friendly ideas and teen night ideas, LGBTQ plus, Halloween, holidays. So if you're kind of stuck, brain freeze, you may have come up with some ideas by watching this. Customer stories. You can see what other librarians have come up with because librarians are great at sharing. So teen programming, outdoor events at St. Charles, diversity programming, film society. There's a few different ideas. The Check It Out magazine, like we saw in a different place on their website. Well, I guess, yes, you need to click on it, but this is what we had found already in a different spot. And a single event licensing. So if you come across a video that says single event licensing, it is not covered. It's probably from an independent publisher. So you have to actually fill out an order form and pay an additional fee for a single event. But it's basic information, but like $118 extra is probably a guideline if you're doing one of these kind of events. Any questions or comments on? No? Okay, well, on the next one. So can you show a movie outside with this license? Well, thank you for the question. Do you recommend creating sign up for these movie sessions or just leave it open to anyone interested? That would really depend on your library. If you really only want a certain number, especially like during the pandemic, if you only want 20 people to come, you may want to have a registration so you can have a cap on it. If you're a smaller library and really, or have a great big space that you want everybody to come, you could leave it open. That's really up to your individual preference. If you're offering something like popcorn, you really may want to know how many are coming because it's easier to plan. But like with life, I think we all know that sometimes you can have the registration and have it fill up and then people don't show up. That's just how life works sometimes too. So it's a hard call. It's a great question. And if anyone else has any thoughts on that, feel free to speak up. Okay, so can I show a movie outside with this license? Usually the answer is no, it's only within the walls of the library. They're not normally covered under the performance license, but you can pay extra to get that licensing availability. But because of COVID, they have done an outdoor exception. So they've offered it to libraries covered by the site license, and it was till June 30th of 2022, and just recently they extended it to December 31st of next year. So with that guidelines, as long as it is on the library's property, the movie license does cover it. So, and for the latest guidelines, ideas, request approval for the exception, you can see outdoor movie events to make sure the date's still open and extended and so on. And you can use any of the movies listed as long as it's not the single event license required, then you would have to pay extra for that. In the search tools in the upper right-hand corner of the website, we'll look at that in a little bit here. Okay, so let's take another look at the Swanks website, the outdoor events for public libraries. Excuse me. Because they do have a form for you to fill out if you're doing an outside event. Just really basic, your name, your email address, phone number, library name, library address, a license number, but there's no asterisk by there saying that you need it. They want the date of the showing, the screen size, how many you plan, and what titles. But they do have these terms and conditions. Excuse me, so sorry. It must be on the library property and must have a maximum of 200 people. It must be for library patrons and employees only, which I would think anyone that goes to a movie at the library is a library patron. But drive-up type showings are not to be offered if there is a drive-in theater within 10 miles of the library. Advertising guidelines, it must be advertised directly to library patrons via mail, email, direct messaging, follow those guidelines. And it says the words drive-in should not be used. You could use wheels and reels or carpool cinema or make up your own. Just don't use the term drive-in. And if you need to change it because of weather or other problems, you need to email them with the new date. And so once in a while, they will withdraw a movie from the exhibition. And single event films require additional licensing. And the library assumes 100% responsibility for pandemics and so on. Once you agree to that and submit it, then they have that information. And then they give a couple ideas for outdoor events, chalk painting, a rock garden. And then they have a lot of contact information if you have additional questions. Has anyone done any outdoor movies at your libraries? Okay, so another question. Does the movie performance site license cover all video cassettes and DVDs? And the answer is no. Sometimes there's educational special interest titles or so on that have special performance rights. And videos of motion pictures in the public domain do not require a license. And some motion picture DVDs or video cassettes are not covered by the license. So if you need to see if a title is covered by the SWANK license, it does give information with the 888 number that you can talk to a manager. So we'll just take a look here and see what is covered. It's pretty basic. You go to search up here in the top right corner, and you can type in a specific title, or I'm just going to type in Christmas because I found it gives a lot of titles. And then we can kind of see what different things look like here. For instance, it gives the rating, TV, PG, PG-13. And like here, it's commented that it's a new release. And here is what it looks like when it says single event license required. So for like these few movies, you would need to pay an additional fee in order to show those in your movie. And show all, there's tons of them about Christmas, so you can get lots of ideas. See, it goes on and on. So it's pretty easy to just type in search, type in your title and see if it would be one allowed. Any questions or comments? Okay, another question. Okay, if the movie I want to show is not covered by the movie performance site license, what can I do? They have an 800 number you can call, or you can ask another company if they cover it and see what the cost would be for a one-time showing. And then you can decide if the library has the funds to do that specific title that's not covered. And Susan Nicely has told me, and I've heard it from a couple other people, that Swank really is good at answering questions and getting back to you if you call or email. I know some companies don't. Swank's got a good reputation, so I think that's great customer service to hear about. And then when I was talking to Susan Nicely about this, she kind of gave me some input. Okay, like Netflix or streaming services, can you show those? Can you use that for your public showing? And she's had a lot of people ask her about it, and her contacts at Swank told her that the Swank license cannot supersede or override Netflix or the other streaming service terms that the account holder had agreed to. So she said, and I know a couple years ago, the Netflix terms of service included a clause prohibiting use of the service for public performance. So Swank's advice was to contact the library, or the account holder could contact Netflix to try to negotiate permission, but it probably would be pretty tricky and not successful, since they usually do have that clause in there, not for public. So there is that. Netflix is probably not an option for viewing in a library. So does anyone have any comments or thoughts? I got through that a whole lot faster than I thought I would. Did I just state the obvious for everything, or did anybody learn anything? I thought it was kind of exciting to create this because I didn't know they did all that. I learned a lot just making it. So. Well, thank you, Alyssa, for, I hope the information was good, valid information for everybody. Yeah, Elizabeth, I was not aware of the option to create posters either. I thought that was a cool option. Okay, well, if there isn't anything else, that was all I had, but I really appreciate you guys. Oh, you'd used the website, but didn't know there were so many options. Right, I looked it up before too, and I didn't dig any deeper into it. And I was excited to see coloring sheets. What, they have coloring sheets? And I didn't explore a whole lot to see how many they had, but I thought that was a nice option. All right, well, thank you so much, everybody. Don't blow away today. I hear the wind blowing. I'm glad my internet held up through all of it. Right. Take care and thank you.